Assalamu alaikum students, this is Ahmed Hussain from English department of SMB QAPS Public School Higher Secondary section. My students, we are once again back and today we are going to discuss our lesson King Faisal. Well, it is the second video lecture of this lesson and indeed we delivered the first lecture and that was the part 1 of this lesson, and in which we discussed previously the paragraphs and also we discussed an overview of the lesson. And now we are going to discuss the remaining paragraphs and much more in this video lecture. My students, before proceeding forward, let's analyze the objectives first. Like in a previous video lecture in the part 1, there were some objectives. In a similar fashion, there are also some objectives and that are quite similar with that with that previous lessons part. And now here, first of all, comprehension. Yes, comprehension is the first and the foremost objective of this video lecture, where it is required to comprehend the text. Moreover, reading and listening skills are also required to be increased. No doubt, while going through this process, we read the text and also from your side you listen the words, you listen the text and ultimately try to make your pronunciation better. Moreover, at the end, enhancement of vocabulary words. No doubt, while going through this lesson, the new words will surely be the part of your vocabulary bank. Now students, this was all about the objectives of this video lecture, and now let's proceed forward towards the text. And here it is the 4th paragraph of this lesson. Well, in the first 3 paragraphs that were discussed earlier in the previous lecture, in the previous part of the video lecture, in which we discussed the brief life history of King Faisal till his kingship. Then we discussed in the second paragraph that how did he become king of Saudi Arabia. Moreover, we discussed in the 3rd paragraph that how he ruled his country, how he developed his country. Now in this 4th paragraph, where 2 areas are discussed. One is the area of education and other is the area of the health. And how did he develop his country in these 2 areas, in the education, in the area of education, and in the area of health. So let's move forward. Here it has been written, King Faisal considered education very important for the progress of his people. He opened many schools where education is free for all. He set up several universities where students are not only given free education but are also awarded stipends to meet other needs as well. Here it has been mentioned that the education was the most important priority for King Faisal. That's why he established many schools, he established many educational centers where education was free. My students. Yes. Moreover, not only he established only schools, but also he developed at the level of universities as well, where students were not only given free education but also there were some allowances for them on the regular basis so that they may able to meet their expenses as well. So they daily on the regular basis, on daily basis. So these were the facilities for the students there in Saudi Arabia during the rule of King Faisal. Moreover, he also spread a network of hospitals. Now here the area of health is discussed. where it has been written that he also spread a network of hospitals and dispensaries all over his vast kingdom. Now, a Bedouin living even 1,000 kilometers from the capital will find a hospital or dispensary not far from where he lives. Yes, even a villager, because there are the Bedouins who live far and wide in the vast lands of Arabia, and these Bedouins can find easily anywhere the hospital or dispensary very close to their locality, very close to their residences. And even it has been mentioned here that if you visit KSA, KSA is the abbreviation of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you will find hundreds of Pakistani doctors, nurses and teachers serving the Arab brethren. Well, our doctors, our nurses and our teachers are serving there for their Arab brethren. So it was all about in this paragraph. Now let's move towards second paragraph. Here it has been mentioned about the late King Faisal's affiliation with the Muslim world. That's why the writer says, the king helped the needy and the poor and provided many facilities to the pilgrims. He had a strong wish to unite the Muslims of the world and did his best to bring the Muslims living in different countries close together. Well, he facilitated all sort of pilgrims who were about to visit there, for the sake of Hajj or for the sake of Umrah. So he did a lot for them. Moreover, his services in making the Muslims conscious of the need for the brotherhood can never be forgotten. That's why his efforts are never forgotten by anybody. And moreover, he had a strong wish to unite all the Muslims who were living in their country and outside of the country as well. That's why it is now the duty of the Muslims to continue his struggle for the achievement of this unity. He practiced whatever he preached and assisted the Muslim countries of the world. That's why it is now the duty of the Muslims to continue the struggle. And we the Muslim Ummah are required to practice and follow the footsteps of King Faisal. And he practiced what he preached and assisted the Muslim countries of the world. And he helped and facilitated in all manners. He was an equal partner with Pakistan, holding the Islamic Summit Conference at Lahore in 1974. Yes, even there was this Islamic Summit Conference was held and organized in Lahore during the era of Zulfikar Bhutto, during the rule of Zulfikar Bhutto, and that time it was organized at Pakistan. And here it has been mentioned particularly that it was organized in the city of Lahore, where all Muslim countries gave their representation and participated there. And also he was King Faisal was also an equal partner with Pakistan in that conference. So my students, moreover, in the next paragraph, here it has been mentioned, King Faisal was a sincere friend and well-wisher of the people of Pakistan. He gave generous help to this country on several occasions. Yes, here in this paragraph, his workings, his affiliation with the Muslim Ummah has been clearly defined, particularly with Pakistan, that he was the well-wisher and a friend of Pakistan, and also he helped our country on many opportunities, on many occasions, on many events. Perhaps no one outside Pakistan could be more unhappy than King Faisal was on the separation of East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. Yes, in 1971, when East Pakistan was separated due to political turmoil and other factors, and Pakistan was separated and divided into two separate entities. That was also it was also a landmark in the history of Pakistan, and also a black day in the history of Pakistan. And even not only Pakistanis realized the intensity of that grief, but also he was also unhappy. King Faisal was really unhappy on that day. So, moreover, he was against the state of Israel because of its enmity towards the Arabs. He strengthened the Arabs in their war against Israel. He felt deeply grieved when Israelites set the Al-Aqsa Mosque on fire. He made every possible effort to get back the Arab territories under the illegal occupation of Israel. After the Black Day, the day which is discussed here in this paragraph, and that day was the separation of East Pakistan. Also, there is also the state of Israel is discussed in this paragraph as well. Here, it has been the affiliation and the viewpoint of and the feelings of King Faisal has been described in this paragraph regarding the state of Israel. And because Israel has much enmity towards the Arabs, that's why in the consequence he strengthened all the Arabs in the war against that country. Moreover, during that dark day when Al-Aqsa Mosque was set on fire, he was deeply grieved, and also he tried to take each and every possible effort to back the Arab territories. So that was all about King Faisal's workings and efforts for the Muslim Ummah. And now in the last paragraph we'll discuss that how this personality got killed. And indeed it has been mentioned here that this great king died in an assault by a weak nephew of his on 25th March 1975. Yes, that was the date when this great personality left this world, when he passed away in an assault by his weak nephew. The Muslims all over the world mourned his death, and the people of Pakistan in particular felt deep grief at this sad news. There was not a single house in Pakistan which did not mourn his death, as if an elder of the family had passed away. Yes, these were the feelings. Yes, these were the feelings of all the Pakistanis when the news of King Faisal reached here, and everybody was was in a much grief, and everybody was mourning over his death. So, wherever it has been written that he lived like a soldier and died a martyr. With his death, not only Saudi Arabia but also the whole Muslim world has lost a sincere and bold leader. He was a religious leader of the Muslims and the guardian of the two holy places of the Makkah Mukarramah and Medina. The Muslims of the world who have great love and respect for him will remember him as a noble and pious Muslim leader, and his name shall remain forever in their hearts. So, students, it was all about this lesson. Hopefully all of you have comprehended, and the new words have now become the part of your vocabulary, which are surely extracted out from your side, and also the reading and listening, from the process of reading and listening is also completed, and these objectives have been fulfilled. And now at the end of this video lecture I'll send you the worksheet for the purpose of assessment, and hopefully the topic has been completed and all the objectives have been achieved. Wish you all the best of luck, my students. Thanks a lot.